Hello, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome into this reading for the full moon in Taurus lunar eclipse. For those who are new, hello and welcome in. It is wonderful to have you here. If you want to learn more about these readings and how to get the most out of them, you can check out the tutorial video I created to catch you up on all of the amazing things that we do in these readings and the best practices I recommend for getting the most out of the information that's coming through and understanding where this information is coming from. Essentially your spiritual support team, but we get more into that in the introduction video. For those who are not new, hello and welcome back. It is lovely to have you here. I appreciate you. I'm honored to show up and serve you in this way as we together navigate the astrological cycles and understand more about our own astrology and to use the spiritual tools of the cards to connect with our support team on the regular, to honor these cycles and to get the most out of them so that we can be the best versions of ourselves. So let's talk first about full moon energy. Full moon energy is the energy of the fullness of a cycle. It's a celebratory energy. So with full moons, we tend to focus on the things that we are celebrating under the theme of the sign that the moon is full in. Now, a full moon is always in the sign that's opposite wherever the sun is right now. So right now, the sun is in the sign of Scorpio, and the opposite of Scorpio in the astrological story is Taurus. Before we get more into the Taurus energies, this is not just a full moon. This is a full moon lunar eclipse. So the energy of this cycle is a little bit different than our typical full moon energies. Typically, a full moon energy vibration cycle information will last us 28 days until the next full moon that we have. However, eclipses are more powerful, more punctuated energies that have longer cycles. They can be from 6 months to a year. So this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus cycle is going to last us a year. And so it's going to take us from when the full moon happens on November 8th all the way to when the next full moon eclipse happens October 28th next year, 2023. So this is a year-long celebration that we are being invited into when it comes to the Taurus themes. Now, the Taurus energy is the second sign of our zodiac story. It's what's called a fixed sign. Fixed signs represent the fullness of a season. So in the Northern Hemisphere, Taurus happens during the season of spring. It represents the fullness of the spring energy and archetype. It has the element of the earth. So earth elements in our zodiac story represents the material world. It represents the physical realm. And so we have with the Taurus energy this beautiful vibration and focus on values, material possessions, the environment, and the earth. So these are the themes that the Taurus archetype and energy brings up and brings into the zodiac story and into our lives to explore on a deeper way. It's a contrasting energy to the Scorpio vibration, which is the season that we're in. The energies that are opposite each other are always going to be in the same, what's called modality. So Scorpio is also a fixed sign, but it represents the fullness of the season of fall. So we have the fullness of spring opposite the fullness of fall, creating this dichotomy and complementary yet opposing energies. Scorpio is the energy of water, whereas Taurus is the energy of earth. So Scorpio is more concerned about the emotional realm, is more concerned about diving deep into the fullness of our emotions, where Taurus energy is really fixed and wants to stay on the material plane in the earth and is concerned with the practical, physical realm. So as we are going to move into this cycle with this lunar eclipse, we are going to be celebrating with the full moon energy this Taurus vibration, so values, when it comes to our own values of who we are, what we value in a practical way in our lives, what we find supportive, and what helps to ground us in this experience of life. We're going to be celebrating that with the Angel Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. So even if you don't believe in angels, your spiritual support team, whoever they may be, is going to help bring guidance to you through the Angel Therapy deck. You are going to be watching only one reading for this lunar phase. There's a lot going on. If you haven't watched the new moon solar eclipse reading for the new moon in Scorpio, I recommend watching that because that's a whole nother cycle that we're in right now that has very, very powerful energies playing out in our lives, and it's going to help us navigate the things that are coming up in our sphere. But this reading, you are only going to watch for where the moon shows up in your chart. So you're going to look for this symbol right here. And this symbol right here represents the moon. And you're going to look for in your chart what astrological sign this symbol was in. If you don't know how to find that information, I did create a tutorial video to help guide you to that information and to that understanding. It is available and the link that's popping up right now, and you can learn all about the information of your chart, or at least how to understand and read the chart from this tutorial video. So you'll watch the video and the advice for your moon sign for this reading. So if you want to support me, there are many ways to do that. You can comment on this, like this, share this, dialogue with me about this, help me learn what is working for you and resonating for you and what isn't. And you can also share it with people who you think might benefit from this guidance and information and this fun game that we play with the astrological cycles, our own astrology, and the spiritual support tools of the cards. You can also give me a financial donation at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. And you can sign up for any of my services at devotedandvulnerable.com/services. I do offer chart readings there. I do meditations. You can contact me for custom guided meditation. I offer tapping services, and I have a chakra meditation service as well. Those are ways that you can support me if you feel called. It is not necessary, but some people want to know how they can reach out and support me, and those are the ways. Also, let me just invite you in to watch Molly MacLeod's really amazing breakdown of what is going on astrologically the moment this eclipse happens in 16 degrees 1 minute of Taurus at 6:02 in the morning Eastern time on November 8th. If you want to learn more about where the planets are and what that means for you on a personal level, you can go watch her video. I'll link it here, so that you can really learn more about the astrology of this particular moment. I watched the video. I thought it was super helpful and supportive, and so I'm going to guide you there if you want to study more and learn more about astrology and learn more about how this phase is going to impact you. So let's get started and find out what we are going to be celebrating when it comes to our values and our finances for this lunar eclipse cycle that is going to take us all the way into October of next year. So this reading is for you if the moon was in Aries when you were born. If you already are familiar with what the moon in Aries represents, you can scroll ahead to the card reading. So the moon in our astrological story represents our emotions, and the sign that it is in represents how our emotions express. So your emotions express themselves through the Aries archetype. The archetype of the Aries is the ram. It is the first sign of the zodiac. So we kind of have this image of this ram head first coming into life. And that's how babies are born, right? Their heads come first out into the world. Aries is what's called a cardinal sign. That's its modality, the energy that it expresses with. So cardinal signs represent the initiatory, the initiating signs of the zodiac. So the initiating signs of the zodiac are always the signs that happen at the beginning of a season. So Aries in the northern hemisphere represents the beginning of spring and the beginning of the zodiac story. Its element is the element of fire. Fire represents the energy of spirituality. So this is an initiatory spiritual energy that we call the first sign of the zodiac. So you have this initiating spirit, right? In order for things to start, spirit had to initiate something into being. So your emotions express themselves in this starting energy, in this spiritual vibration of the spark of life. You may notice that your emotions have the qualities of the Aries archetype, the enthusiasm, the generosity, the sparkiness, as I like to call it, the courageous energy. It takes a lot of courage to start something and be that first person who goes head first into something. And this is a very independent energy. So this is what's going on in your emotional realm, in your emotional sphere. This is what we mean when we say your moon is in Aries. It means that your emotions express themselves through this archetype, through this fire, through this spiritual, cardinal, initiatory vibration and energy. So I always tell people to look at in their lives, how does this show up for you? How can you tap more into the fire, the spiritual energy of your heart, of your vibration, of your being? And how can you maybe honor the fact that you're kind of sparky when it comes to your emotions? You might find that your emotions are always like starting something, but you may not have that emotional follow through that you may see from others in the world around you. I always tell people, when you want to learn more about an alignment that you have, always spy on or look to the sun signs of that vibration. So you'll look to the solar Aries to find out what makes them shine and to understand that that's what is present in your emotional sphere. So the Aries energies, again, are those who are born during that beginning of spring, once the equinox happens. All right, let's get into your card reading. So if you haven't already, called in your spiritual support team, invited them to be here, opened your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you at this time, I invite you to do that. And let's find out what my moon in Aries need to know about what they're celebrating in the values and in the financial world. Look at how this card is peeking out here, guys. We're going to take this one. This is you. Okay. Ooh, yeah. So you got clear yourself. The card says ask the angels, and of course angels means whomever your spiritual support team is. So that may be an ancestor that you go to for guidance. It may be Buddha, it may be a god, it may be a goddess, it may be a fairy, it may be your higher self, it may be the universe. Ask your spiritual support team to release any toxic energies that you may have absorbed. Okay, interesting. So as we are celebrating this full moon eclipse in Taurus, you're being invited for the next year to really be aware and present with the toxic energies that you may have absorbed and to release them. It feels like you're almost releasing them down into the earth. So there are many ways that we can release energies. We can ask our spiritual support team to help us with that, but they also might guide us to practices that help us to clear our energy, putting our bare hands and bare feet into the earth. I know for some of us it's getting a little cold to do that, so you can also take salt baths, mineral baths that help you to connect with the earth energy but also stay warm. It's a way of clearing yourself. You can also use sage, or you can use Palo Santo, which is a smudging stick that will help clear energy and vibration. You can ask your support team to guide you to whatever spiritual tool for smudging and clearing will work for you. I'm lighting one of my sticks right now to kind of show you. Can't really even see it, but it's a way of just releasing the energy around you and clearing the energy in your field. It's saying that any toxic energies, so energies could be through entertainment, it could be through other people, it could be through food you've ingested. But as we talk about this Taurus energy, we're talking about within our value system and within our physical world. So within our physical body, yes, definitely, because it's a physical attribute. And again, we're celebrating and focusing that. But in order for you to really celebrate the beautiful gifts that the Taurus archetype brings, you're going to have to clear some of the toxic energies that have seeped into your physicality. And I would also say the value system. So a lot of times we will compromise our own values for the sake of what's going on around us, fitting in particular. We can let go of our own values. We can not honor our own values when it comes to wanting to fit in and go with the flow. And that's a toxic vibration to ourselves, because when we don't honor ourselves, it doesn't feel great in our body. And it can show up in so many different ways, and so many different symptoms, and in so many different manifestations and vibrations. So your vibration, your energy, your advice is to clear yourself of any toxic energies that you may have absorbed. And again, you can absorb them from entertainment, you can absorb them from other people, you can absorb them from physical objects, you can absorb them from what you're eating, you can absorb them from your thoughts. And pay attention also to your value system, because we are talking about the value systems here with this Taurus energy and archetype. And we want to make sure that any toxicity that's seeped into your own sense of value and integrity when it comes to acting on your values, you want to clear any negative energies you've absorbed in this area of your life. This is a moon reading, so we're talking about the moon in Aries here. So we're talking about my beautiful moon in Aries, that in order for you to start something new and to jump in and to offer that initiatory spiritual passion that your heart just naturally has to offer us as a gift and as part of your unique and individual expression, you're being asked to be aware that as we celebrate the physical realm and our values, there's a clearing that you get to have. You get to maybe even dive head into, because you're so good at doing that with that Aries energy, but diving into this clearing so that you can celebrate these Taurus energies, this beautiful, grounded, valuable physical realm. Is if it's filled with toxicity, there's no celebration here for you. So there's the clearing of yourself that you're being invited to do in order to really honor and celebrate this lunar eclipse phase, which will last until October of next year. As always, let me know how this is resonating. Let me know if you have questions. And until next time, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.